What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well today and welcome to Honey Lake Motocross Park. This is created by everyone's favourite joint, it is the Super Joint, and this track, I don't think the timing of release could be much better, because at the point of me recording this, the two strokes are meant to come out later today. Little disclaimer, like today is the 27th, you'll be watching this on the 28th, but the two strokes should be out by the time that you are watching this video. I hope, fingers crossed, unless there's another delay. I'm going to be riding the Husky 252 stroke today, which is from the old Beta 17 bikes. This isn't a new one at all. Just thought I'd get that out of the way before we start the video and get into the track. But Honey Lake right here, we've got a massive, looks like very fast, flowy motocross track, and then we've got an enduro track dotted around the outside as well, which I might spin a lap of at the end. We'll see how the video goes and what we're doing time-wise. But let's hop into it. Let's hear some two-stroke action for the first time in quite some time, and let's have fun, as always. Right, here we go then. Oh, listen to the sound of it. Music to my ears. So, we spawn a little bit away from the track. We are out there in the depths, but let's see what first impressions are like. So, I do want to say, if you see me sliding out a bit throughout this this track review, I guess, then take it with a pinch of salt, because obviously I'm on the Beta 17 252 stroke right now. That is a lot smaller than I thought. Holy moly, I reckon you can step over that in one go. All right, noted. Noted for next lap. If I slide out at all, then I've got stock tyres. You know, the tyres that came with the Beta 18 OEM update, they don't apply to these bikes at all. They're not available options. We just have the stock Perbosos. So I'm going to take it nice and easy around these corners, roll on the throttle very, very gently, because I feel like with the 252 strokes from the Beta 17 pack, they're odd, you know, they can either be a handful or they can feel like they're not moving anywhere. You've got to ride them very, very specifically. Now, I'm just trying to tiptoe around a little bit on this lap one, just so I get an idea of where the track goes and how it is. Like, look how big this hill is, Jesus. Let's get fourth gear. I don't know if we're going to need fifth. Let's try fifth. I feel like we might bog by the time we get up this. Oh, we're bogging. We're bogging. The front end wanted to twitch a little bit there, but I think he's got the elevation change there about spot on. I think if he made that much steeper, then we could be in trouble. I'm going down this hill. Oh, Lord. Okay, that's a lot more technical than I expected. So, note to self, bloody slow down. You can see out here where the rocks are, over on the right. That's where the enduro track goes. He said that he's made like separate layouts, although I didn't see it when I was looking at my tracks. I only saw the MX, so I'll go back after doing a few laps and see if there is an individual one, because it's quite nice being timed on anything that you do, even if it is a random enduro trail. It's nice seeing how fast you're going, where you can improve. That's why I always run max hard. I like seeing the numbers a little bit. So glad I glimpsed up at the track map for a second there. Let's just weave round. Now, apparently, oh Jesus, this is a real track that he's based this off of. Can't speak on how true to life it is. Absolutely no clue, never seen the track before, ever. But I quite like how the track seems to be very, like, split. You know, there's either a split lane or inside roll or outside smooth in nearly every single corner, which is very, very nice. That's a roller as well. Backflip! Oh, I usually just say that for the memes. I didn't expect to actually get one. I didn't expect to ride away from it. Right, I could crash here. No, I'm not sending it. I'm not sending it. Check up. There we go. Got an awful run around the corner. And then we step up and over, around the outside here. Oh, crossing over lanes. Look at me go. I wonder if that would be illegal if everyone was racing on this. Now, I'm guessing the track does give me like massive local vibes. It doesn't feel like anything massive by any means. So I'm just noticing like the lack of track markers and bows and things like that. But if that is true to life, then I can't really comment it too much. But I feel like maybe in some of the split lanes there should be, you know, just like the yellow stakes, just to kind of go down the middle of them, even if they don't have collisions, just to separate them a little bit more, just in a visual basis, really. But it's actually quite a simple track, and it doesn't feel like it's going to be that long of a lap time. I have to try and work out where the bloody finish line jump is, but we go up here, and then I need to slow down when we get to the top before we turn around and drop back down. So let's slow it down here, nice and easy. Just drop off down to the right, drop off again down to the left. Now these hills, they remind me of I mean, anyone from the UK, any US people, you probably have no idea, but There is a lovely place called Devon in the UK, and Devon is known for its hilly tracks, always going up and down on the side of a side of a hill for some reason. And I rode one year. I don't go there anymore. It's like probably like a 4-hour drive. So we used to go and camp over and do like 2-day events, but I don't do it anymore. But there was one track that I went to, and I go out for practice. You know, we get like 2 laps of practice. You don't really get like normal qualifying back then. This is still when I was on an 85, I believe. Yeah, it must have been like a big wheel, 85. And I was riding round, coming down one of these hills on this practice lap, first lap of the day, and it didn't really seem to stop before I got to the bottom. So I ran off the track a little bit, managed to get stopped just before the fencing. And I was like, oh, this is fine, you know, sometimes my dad might spray some WD-40 on the bike, maybe some of it got onto the brake disc, and that's why it didn't work. I overjumped the bloody line again. That's the finish line, noted. There, that massive roller, right, stop. There we go. Massive roller right there next to the hut is the finish line. So about 2-minute lap times if you're not watching yourself all the time. I got to the bottom of this hill, barely stopped. So I thought, you know what, it's fine. Dad's probably accidentally got a bit of WD-40 on the brake disc. No problem. Come around the next lap, going a little bit faster because obviously I'm a bit more confident on the track now. I know where the track layout goes. And I literally, the only thing that does stop me is the fence. You know, I don't fall off or anything. I just ram my front wheel into it. And actually my dad was marshalling on that same day, so I kind of pull over next to the marshal point he's on. I said, like, my front brake's not working, and he's like, oh, it's fine, it's probably just wearing in, blah blah blah. So, you know, like, stop complaining. So I carried on, finished, went back, and I can't remember what the problem was, but there was something wrong with the brake itself. So yeah, I had no front brake, so I was going down these hills with like back brake only, and I felt like I had no real stopping power because they're that steep to the point where if you, like, the back brake will just slow you down a bit, but you know what it's like when that back wheel is like really flickering between gripping and locking up, where it was a little bit loamy too. So yeah, I was just skating down these hills for practice, and yeah, the track's just giving me a nice little memory, a nice little flashback. Generally can't remember the name of the track to save my life because I've been to I've been to a handful in Devon over the years. Obviously not in the last few years by any means. This is all when I was much younger. Stop. Thank you. Basically like that, barely coming to a stop by the bottom, and I do miss it. You know, I like travelling here, there, and everywhere to go riding, but I do not have the facilities for that anymore. But he did actually mention. Usually it's me that has to beg my dad to go out riding on the bikes. He did actually mention to me the other day that as soon as the weather gets a little bit less dull and wet and windy and cold, then we'll get the bikes out somewhere. So that's nice. So you boys might have. Oh, I thought this was the finish line. You boys might have a real life motocross video to look forward to in the near future, because I know a lot of people ask for them, and I do wish that I could upload them. Every time that I've gone riding in the last year, you guys have seen and watched, so that shows you how many times I've actually been riding. What I've done, maybe like 4, 5 videos total. So it is what it is. I'll get round to it at some point. And what's this inside line like up here? I feel like I keep putting it off. And should we transfer over to the right this time? I keep transferring over to the left by mistake. Let's stick to the right hand side. Lovely. Now I do have, I've got 2 Erodon right now, and you can see that the ruts are slowly developing, but they're not aggressive in any way. They're not like yanking me to the side. So, I mean, feel free to crank up the Erode as much as your heart does desire. I'm aware I'm a little bit later on to this track. I'm sure most of you have probably covered it by now, but I had other things that I found a little bit more important at the time to upload videos on. I need to do some practicing actually once I've finished recording this for the Outdoors series. The MX Bikes GP is starting today, or tomorrow at the point you're watching this, and I put a poll out to see what bikes people want me to ride, because at the point of recording this I'm still very, very undecided. There's about 2 hours left of the poll. I set a time limit for it, and actually, oddly enough, more people voted for 250s than 450s. I thought it'd be 450s overwhelmingly. I kind of pleaded my case. I'm of the opinion of, but like, this is pre-update by the way, so obviously when the 2-strokes and electric bikes release, the 450s and 250s that are already out are also being updated. Just I think with like some front end issues and buffing like the Suzuki and the TM and just little tweaks here and there. But yeah, at this moment in time, the 450s, they're not unrideable by any means outdoors, but when you get any like super choppy tracks, the front end just doesn't do what you want it to do. Like, it feels like it's never connected to the ground. You're always worrying about it pinging up in the air, and then you get an awful Provoso physics and wobbling over. So my case really was, I'm torn, because 250s are a lot more fun to ride outdoors. However, it's kind of seen as the easier class. And then 450s feel awful to ride outdoors, but it's like the elite class. So it's like, what one do you do really? And yeah, surprisingly, a lot of people voted for the 250s over the 4. And the only reason that I thought they'd vote for the 450 is because they want to see me kind of race the highest class possible against the best riders possible. But a lot of people seem to approach it with, well, don't just ride a bike that you don't want to ride what you enjoy riding, because then it'll make better content. And I was like, oh, you guys do actually care. Thank you so much. So yeah, I think I'm going to be riding 250s. That poll could completely change by the time I refresh it in 2 hours from now, but right now it's looking like 250 life for this season. I do want to say that isn't set in stone by any means. If I have a feeling that I might not be able to do every single round of the GP season. Like, it might conflict with other things going on in my life. So if that is the case, and I'm not actually in full points contention, say half of the season in, then if the 450s have actually been improved a bunch in this update that's coming out, then I might actually do a round or two on it. We'll see how it goes. And one thing that I'm really trying to do, at the moment at least, especially after like the Arlington Triple Crowns and watching it back and listening to how frustrated and like moany I was being throughout the streams, I want to try and have the most fun possible playing MX bikes rather than worrying so much about winning all the time. I know winning's great. I know you guys probably really enjoy seeing me win as well. Like, it's much. I know whenever I watch any sort of games, I always like watching people play that are better than myself. A, to see if I can learn anything, and then B, just because I find it really impressive. So I'm guessing that you guys like watching fast people, but it's nice to know that there are people out there that just want to see me have a good time on the game. But that's what I'm trying. I want to try and be a lot more chill, not treat it as in that I don't care, but just if stuff happens, then just accept it and move on, because it is a video game at the end of the day. Whilst some people do treat it as if it's life or death, and it definitely feels like that in the moment, it's not the case, and I need to recognise that a little bit more than I currently do. So, we've almost got under the 2-minute mark for that times around here. It's actually a deceptively difficult track in some places, especially the steep downhills with all the bumps. I think that he's done a very good job with the rough. Like, there is rough, it is noticeable, it does affect you, it does slow you down in a good way, but it's not unrideable. Like, when I think of rough that isn't enjoyable, I think of tracks like Thunder Valley in the Aerial Championship, because that was like brutally rough, you know, to the point where sometimes your bike would just disappear from you and you don't know why, you can't work it out. But I feel like everything on this track right here is challenging, but very doable once you get your head around it. I also do think that if I was using a bike right now that I'm actually comfortable with and have a setup on, / tyres on, I'd probably be doing a lot better of a job showcasing this track for you. But since I think it's going to be a very good track for the new Beta 18 two-strokes, I felt like riding a two-stroke today. But I'm very interested to see how they all feel, because I rode, if you guys remember, I rode that very early access YZ125 that's going to be coming out. I don't know how much different that's going to feel to what we're getting now if things have been worked on a bunch more, but kind of throwing my memory back to it, the bikes, the two-strokes felt a lot more planted than the Beta 17 ones do. Obviously traction was a lot better with them updated tyres, and it feels like you've got a bike underneath you. It's really weird to explain, but you'll know when you play and you can feel it. This is a very tricky corner. Can I triple this? No, I feel like it's meant to be a double single. I feel like there's some sections like this where I think that inside is just never really going to get used. Like, you got to be really sharp on the binders, on the brakes, getting down into this section, and you can see it's actually starting to rut up quite nicely now with that two-ear road. We're on lap 5, so we're not like super deep in by any means, but it's starting to form, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see some like 125 races or anything on this sort of track in the near future. I'm here for it. I've been missing the European Masters 125 races like crazy. They're always some of the most fun ones to do, because let's be honest, who doesn't listen, or who doesn't enjoy listening to a 125 screaming around the track for 20 or 30 minutes straight? I certainly do. I love it. They are some of the most fun that you can have on this game, and I'm hoping with the updated ones that will be even more the case than it originally was. And what I would love to happen is for some of the other bikes to be a little bit more competitive, because if you ever saw any of those 125 races, it really was just a sea of orange, because I mean the KTMs are the best 125s anyway. I think that's true to life. I don't think any of the other brands really hold a candle to them. Husqvarna's kind of close, I guess. Like, you can see some Yamis here and there, and whilst I think they look the best, I don't think they are the fastest by any means. But I'd love to have some more, at least more competitive two-strokes in this game. And obviously we're going to get some weird and wonderful things as well, I think, like different 500s. I think there's going to be a few different TM two-stroke options in there as well. Like, when I absolutely adore hearing a TM two-stroke at any track I go to IRL. Like, it's so distinctive. Them things are absolute animals, and I've only had the pleasure of riding a TM 125 once. It was a very, very old one, but I absolutely loved it. It's like, it brought back that love of two-strokes for me. It wasn't that long ago. I want to say it's probably about a year ago now, I believe. But yeah, really, really good fun. So, are you guys excited for them to finally come out? I've been seeing nothing but when a two-strokes dropping in every single Discord that I am a part of. It got to the point where I was so fed up of seeing it that in my own Discord, which link is in the description by the way if you want to join that, I made it so anytime someone writes the word stroke or strokes, it automatically pops up a message saying there is no set time for them, they will be released at some point on the 27th. Well, I actually think they're being released at about midnight, so 27th rolling into the 28th, or like 1 AM-ish on the 28th, but time zones exist. I saw someone from Australia saying, right, it's the 27th for me now, where are the bikes? It's like, well, no one in the OEM team is from Australia, so they're going to have trouble uploading it for then. The majority of it's EU, and then there's a couple of US guys in there as well, so we'll see. We'll see what time it actually releases, but I'm excited to hopefully wake up to some new bikes to make some new bloody content on, because I can't lie to you guys, I've been struggling a tiny bit over the last 2-3 weeks or so, just trying to think of some new ideas, because all we got really right now, especially whilst the servers have been pooing themselves recently, which Roboto doesn't really seem too fussed on fixing, it's just basically like track releases that I'm covering really. Need some more ideas. I think a lot of the ideas that I have, they'll be better suited for live streams than individual videos, but maybe I'm just in a little bit of a creative rut, but I certainly appreciate some ideas from you guys. On the list of to-do things, when I've got some more time to properly sit down and edit a proper length video, it's going to be like how to be a better racer, so better racing IQ. I was going to do shootouts, but obviously I'm just waiting until this new OEM update has actually finally dropped to do so, because there's no point me doing a shootout and then the bikes will get updated and it becomes irrelevant anymore, unless I really wanted to like try and bleed as many videos out as possible just by getting 2 instead of 1. But they're on the to-do list. We'll probably do it on the 2 strokes, on the 254 strokes and the 454 strokes. Depending on how many electric bikes there are, I might do on that as well, but I mean, I've got no insider information on this, but I expect it'll just probably be the Alta and the Stark Varg, maybe a Suron thrown in there, but I don't know how competitive against each other they would be. I imagine the Varg will probably be the king in that one, which I'm also excited to try and ride. Oh, there we go, we've absolutely wadded ourselves, and I think that probably going to do it for me. I don't think I'm going to ride around the Enduro track at all. I don't think it will particularly add anything of value throughout this video, and it gives you more of a reason to download this track yourselves and just give it a go. I think it's just quite an easy trail that goes around. The trail itself, the enduro part, isn't based off anything IRL. I think Superjoint said that was proving a bit too difficult to do, is replicate like a proper enduro, so he's made his own layout. So if it's good, then go and leave a comment on his post and let him know. Leave some good constructive feedback if you want to. I'm a fan of the decals that he's used. The textures, I think they look very, very nice and very pretty. In terms of environment, I can't speak on it because I've never seen the real life track myself. It looks a little bit on the bland side, but I'm not sure what else he could really do, especially if this is how the track is IRL, so I'm going to bite my tongue on that one. I think the rough is very good. The track is a lot more challenging than actually meets the eye, and it seems to be roughing up quite well too with this two-ear road. You're getting some nice built-in ruts I can actually get into and follow. There seems to be lots of different line choices and opportunities with the rollers on the insides of all the corners, so big dubskis on that, and overall really, really good job. Keep them coming. I'm a happy man. So if you've enjoyed this video, if I could ask you to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new as always, I would certainly appreciate it. Have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the two strokes. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.